Sorry I'm not there with you this year. Monty, I know how much hard work goes into putting on a conference, so I express my appreciation to you for all that you have done, and I hope everyone has a great time. I would have done more to get this presentation ready, but it's just been a real bad day. I mean, it's almost as if I was having a triple negative or something. And for some reason, these three numbers kept cropping up in my mind. 2-3, 2-8, and 3-3. I don't know what that means, but my rhythm calculator's been working on it all day. So, no, seriously. I appreciate the time and the effort's gone into letting me talk. This first talk is going to be on old calculator advertisements. On your conference thumb drive is a folder, I presume Eric can tell you for sure, that has JPEG images of over 1,500 old advertisements about calculators and related things from newspapers dating primarily in the 70s and 80s. It was quite an effort to get, but it's been a long goal of mine to do this. When I was younger, a good friend of mine used to cut out the calculator advertisements out of the newspapers here in Nashville, and we'd keep them in a folder. And we would look at them and wish we had money so that we could buy these amazing toys. Unfortunately, I have since lost both that friend and all of his advertisements, but now through the marvel of technology, we have them. So I'm going to go with the presentation full screen and try to show you some of the wonderful things, in my opinion, that are in the folder on your thumb drive. So here we go. Just imagine you still see my little head talking. There are over 1,500 JPEG files of old calculator advertisements from newspapers. The file names have the 8-digit date in them, usually of YYYY, the year, the month, and the day. That way when you sort it, you can walk through the images from oldest to newest. The first ad in the folder is from March 18th, 1968, and the last ad is from 2010, January 31st, 2010. The ads are from the USA and international, some international, but more from the USA. There are more Texas Instrument ads than Hewlett Packard. I guess that makes sense. Primarily, TI would have advertised more in the middle of the 70s than Hewlett Packard would have been. But I also attempted to focus on as many brands as possible. There are HP ads, there are Texas Instrument ads, there are Rockwell ads, Unisonic, Summit, Sinclair, APF, Brother, Calfax, and a whole lot more. There are more ads from Nashville, Tennessee than a random sampling really should suggest, but this didn't start out random at all. I was scanning through all the old Nashville newspapers because that's what I remembered seeing, and then it started branching out from there. Tried to avoid duplications of ads. If the same ad showed up on 2 different days or in even 2 different newspapers, it's possible that it will show up in 2 separate image files. And there are some ads where there's a close-up of a portion of the ad, and so you may see some duplication there, but feel free to delete things that appear to be duplications in your opinion. Some statistics. 1972, there are 13 ads with dates back in 1972. 1973, there are 41 ads. 1974, you can see when the golden age really seems to begin. 164 ads, 75, 263, 289 ads in 1976, and that's when the turning point seems to start. 168 ads, and then 91 ads in 1978. The way these things were searched varied. I tried to search calculator, but you can be amazed how many things that will pop up. Anytime there's any form of a mention of the word calculator, it would show up whether it was an ad or not. So I had to just try different things. I searched on model numbers, HP-65, and see what that would bring up and look for ads. So it's a hodgepodge. There's no telling what it could have been done if there had been a better way potentially to search, but this is what we've got. Hewlett Packard calculator first appearances, as best I could tell by going after the ads. The HP 35, December 14th, 1972. The HP80 about a month later, 1973, January 18th. The HP45, 73 on July the 1st. This HP65, which is actually called the Superstar, you'll see that in a minute, 1974, January 20th. The HP25, 1975, July 26th. The HP67 and 97 on July 11th of 1976. And the HP41C the day after introduction, I think, July 17th, 1979. Here is the first ad that I was able to find for the HP35. Hopefully you can see it well. The beauty, I think, of these ads is many of them are really quite detailed, and you can see not only the machine, but you can read the text and description and the summary of the features. Some of them are rather poor. The original was rather poor, but the quality of many of these, I think, is really pretty nice. So that's the HP35. This was a full-page advertisement in a newspaper for the HP80. Hewlett-Packard announced the most revolutionary financial device of our time, until, of course, the next one came out. That's the first ad I found for the HP45. And many of these, of course, will show pricing. The next step, if somebody really wants to try it, would be to scan through these ads and to create some sort of a price database, adding the date and the price. A graph of that would really be interesting to show ups and downs of pricing, especially toward the discontinuation dates. But that was the HP45's first time in July of 73. Here is the Superstar. Yes, the HP65 Superstar is here. Apparently it was a traveling road show because this ad shows up quite a few times in various places. This was in Monroeville, Pennsylvania. So Hewlett-Packard apparently decided, best I could tell, to make their first advertisement for it in Pennsylvania. It was going to be for several hours on the 22nd and 23rd of January. That's the first ad for the HP25 I was able to find, and I noticed it had immediate delivery. Hopefully I can call them after our talk is over. For $195, and you can see they were also carrying quite a few of the other models. I did not put the first time the HP70 or HP55 showed up. This is the HP67, the first mention it had, showing the cards that would go along with it for $450. So it's really nice to talk about the smart card reader and all that kind of thing for the HP67. Here you go. This is one I do remember, the Olympic Sales Company. Still have those catalogs, Thomas, thanks to you. The HP41 special introductory offer coming in at $244.95. They will beat any advertised price, and you can also see other HP models, including, I believe that's a $42.95 HP31E calculator. There are some interesting mentions in these advertisements as well. Here's one that shows a lot of the Hewlett-Packard calculators, including the HP92 up at the top, a $299 HP67, the HP41C, and a $39.95 HP31E down at the bottom. But the interesting mention is up in the top left. I'll zoom in on that. They said, join us today as Hewlett-Packard representatives and members of the Personal Programmers Club, PPC, discuss and demonstrate our line of HP products. From PPC, it was Lou Weiner, Gary Tenzer, and Richard Nelson. This was in Torrance, California, Santa Ana and Torrance. Several of you. Richard, do you remember that?
Oh, absolutely, like it was yesterday.
Here's another one. This was a Computique big event with Hewlett-Packard and PPC for the HP85. I did not notice any names in this one, but I had searched for PPC, I had searched for Richard Nelson and a few other people trying to see if they showed up in these newspapers, and I found that they in fact were there. Here's an interesting clip. This was from the Findlay chapter of PPC. The individual, Robert Batten, was going to present a workshop on the t-test and hypothesis testing with the HP41. And following that, program tips and routines presented in the PPC journal, I think the L is a little bad there, will be discussed. So I thought that was curious. And the OSU bookstores now had in stock the PPC-ROM over 2 years for completion. Over 100 programmers took part. And so they were apparently trying to sell that. I'm not sure, that's probably Oregon State, but it could have been the Ohio State University. I never quite. There were also some pretty cheap deals. If you're thinking about getting a time machine and going back to buy these things on clearance and making money today on eBay, here's your shot. There's a 32E for $33.30 as a July 4th special. I don't think you would make money given the time value of money unless you took back 2018 money. But if you had bought it then, you would not have been able to make money today on a 32E, I don't think. But look at the 37E and the 33C, both pretty cheap. Here's one that showed a nice, good image, I thought, of some Texas Instruments calculators. I'll wait for the hissing. But the one that caught my eye is down at the bottom, the HP70. There were several clearance events with the HP70, even several years after I would have thought it would have been gone, down in the $70 to $80 range. You might have been able to make money if you had bought some HP70s for $80 and sat on them new in the box. They probably would have been one of the rare opportunities to make money. The last HP calculator advertised that I was able to find, Sam Kim, was the HP12C Platinum in 2010, January 31st. I was unable to find any additional advertisements with Hewlett-Packard calculators after 2010. But there's also a lot of what I would call fun in here too, including some comic strips that make mention of calculators. Here's Blondie. Dear, look at the pocket calculator I got today. It adds, subtracts, multiplies, divides, and does basic trigonometry. When do you plan on using trigonometry? As soon as I find out what it is. Here is Nancy. Aunt Fritzy, I love this little calculator you bought today. You just press the buttons and it adds. Click, click, click. This sure is fun. Click, click, click. That looks like me probably as a kid. Nancy, you can't stay up and play with that thing all night. Go to bed. Okay, I can't sleep. So counting sheep then by punching in the calculator. This is Archie. Hey Arch, look what I got for my birthday. Wow, Moose, what a neat calculator. It performs exponentials, hyperbolics, squares, and logarithms. Oh, yeah? I thought it was a radio. And there are also some bloopers in the ads themselves. I found these perhaps most humorous. You got to remember these things were done before desktop publishing and things like that, and often done with very little information before the announcement of the machines. Here's one that says, sorry, we do not have the Texas Instruments SR50 calculator in stock. Apparently it was mentioned as being there, and they must have had hordes of people trying to beat the doors down to buy them. So don't come by our store. We don't have it. How about that one, the first touchscreen calculator? It adds, subtracts. I guess there's a stylus missing for it somewhere. TI 2500. This was an interesting one, the SR50. Apparently they got notice it was coming before they knew what it looked like. So they took an SR10 and added an extra row of buttons on the top. If you look closely, that's an SR10, or SR11, sorry, SR11 with an arc, a sine, cosine, and tangent button pasted on top of it. There's never been such a model. Not to be left behind, there's a Hewlett-Packard HP45 I bet you've never seen. And it talks about it having only 24 keys. Well, there's 24 keys in that image, but that is not an HP45, of course. Or a TI SR11 with an enter key. Look at that. Fun, fun, fun. This is one of my favorites. Somebody had to proof that, but nobody was watching it. Look at that upside-down calculator. I wonder if it says hello or something like that. Or this one, the mysterious TI-150. It has all the digits. Apparently you can type a number and press equal. There's no other keys on it. There's a whole lot of brands mentioned in these ads. I'm keeping watch on my time. Bomar, a nice image here of the MX-150, which is it's a great machine if you don't have one of those. The Melcor, I think we all see these sometimes showing up on eBay, but you've got as well some price points shown, the SR50 and the HP35 as well shown in that ad. Lloyd's, there's your 999 model that they used to run ads in the backs of magazines as well as the SR10. There's the Rockwell Financier. It's a nice green looking model. I guess they thought green equaled money. As best I can tell from my the 1,500 ads I did, the second financial calculator ever sold that had the time value of money built into it after the HP 80 was probably this machine right here. I'm really surprised by that. I did not think that it would have been this Rockwell Financier. I guess I always think TI was so fast for everything, but they came rather late into the financial calculator market. Here's a nice one, the ICP 537, a scientific powerhouse. Better calculator than the HP 35. Well, we might argue over that. That one you probably remember, Radioshack Calculator with a green display. That one was advertised quite a bit. Of course, the Texas Instrument models that we saw, this was a service merchandise ad. They're a catalog retailer that was very prominent here in the eastern side of the country. And notice the TI-59 is at $199. It wasn't often you saw that below $200, and the TI-58 over there at $89. And the variety of the models, this is the TI-66, an LCD programmable from TI that shows the steps in letters, but you can't key in letters, but it'll show the programming steps in letters. There is a CalFax with a nice set of scientific functions. And King's Point, including this one that's on the right side, the SC60 that I've never seen in person that had all sorts of extra functions built into it. And the SR50A, many times these ads will talk about the SR50A, but they'll show the original SR50 or vice versa. They had trouble keeping up with the images and the model numbers. There's an HPO1 ad, and of all things, that is from Nashville, Tennessee. I never saw that in real time, but an HPO1 ad from Nashville, Tennessee here. And some ads of personal memories. Now, this is a service merchandise full-size ad, and you can see Unisonics up in the top right, including for $24.97, their $12.99 Unisonic that we'll talk about here in a minute in the next presentation, and the $7.99 and the one just next to it for $16.97. Top left, you've got some Rockwells, the 64RD and the 44RD, a Novus. Rumor has it that's a typewriter down toward the bottom. But the reason this has a personal thing to me is this ad prompted me to go out myself and buy my first calculator with my own money I made over the summer. And that was this SR51A for $58.84. I remembered I paid about $60 for it, and I actually found the ad right around Labor Day of 1976 that had to have been the one I saw because I went out to buy it after seeing an ad in the paper. It also, there are a few places where it's not really an ad, but it's news articles. HP introduces the new versatile calculator for the HP 41. There's a news article where some HP calculators caught fire in Corvallis. Apparently there were some Series E. Maybe it was testing. They tried to light them and see if they would continue to burn. But there are some other things other than images. This one, again, is that HP 41 introductory offer from Olympic Sales. So enjoy these, but beware. These ads will consume your available time if you are not careful. I know they often do mine as I just page through them one after the other. So I hope you find these enjoyable. They were a lot of fun getting, and maybe some interesting tidbits will come to your mind as you look through them yourselves. Any questions on the advertisements?
I guess not.
All right, thank you very much.
And you got the next one, right, Gene?
Yeah, let's see.